Hi everybody, today I am going to show how to take these cedar fence planks and sand them down and turn them into a garden bed. So what we did several years ago was we got some of these, sanded them down, put some protectant on them from the inside, and then stain them and use them to build raised garden beds. So we've gotten to the point now where we have to replace some of these boards. So I'm going to show you the step-by-step process of how to sand these down, prime them with a sealant that's safe for vegetables and stuff on the inside, and do some staining on the outside. So here we go. Just using oscillating sander plus this 100 grit sandpaper to get started. Alrighty, well, we are back to the second part of the process. Now we've gotten our boards all sanded down and they are ready to go. Because I am putting this in a vegetable garden, I am going to be putting the side-facing boards covered with this product called Garden Seal. It's not going to put any leach any bad chemicals into the actual garden bed. So, journey. I prefer like a foam brush here, so you're literally just applying it, even strokes up and down the board, making sure you're getting a good saturation of the product on the board. And again, it's really hot out today, so I won't need a lot of dry time, but typically, as long as it's dry to the touch, you can put any of those additional coats on. So I'm going to go continuing to do all 8 of these boards, and then once I get onto the back side, we're going to be putting a nice cedar stain on the outside. So I will show you what that process looks like when we get to that point. So I will continue on. Garden Seal coats, and you can see here, this is the completed board. This is what the original prior to the seal, so nice, gives it a nice actual look to it, but I'm not super concerned about that because that's going to be inside of the garden box anyway. So to doing the cedar stain on this side, so you'll really see a big change on these once we get those boards done again. And this is what the box will look like after you get the boards painted and stained and sealed. And then pretty simple, you just have some corner supports. You're going to attach those to the corner support and have yourself a pretty nice raised garden bed with not a lot of money. And this is the fully stained board with the... Alrighty, we are on to the staining process. The product I'm using is the Sherwin-Williams Cedar Deck Stain. That's the same thing we used prior to. So I want to stay consistent with what I'm using. Same kind of process. I'm using, instead of the sponge that I was using for the Garden Seal spray, just using a brush here to apply the stain. And then I've got a handy dandy smaller little tub here that I'm using. Again, the key here is to just make sure you're applying nice, even, thin coats, long brush